All right, so as the door to Dean Petrov's office opens, it's a beautiful wooden door. In spite of her anxiety, Cecile catches this. It's a beautifully carved, exquisitely carved wooden door, obviously natural. It swings open to reveal a somewhat austere, minimalist, modern office. There's a huge wooden desk facing the door with its back to the corner. um, the walls are glass. The corner walls are glass with at any other time of year would probably be a beautiful view across the sound, but as we said, it's raining. Behind the desk sits Dean Petrov. He's an older human male, short dark hair, um, a rather hard looking nose, and seated rather casually on the edge of his desk is a woman of Asian descent, probably Chinese. Um, she is wearing her hair in a bob as well, and she's impeccably dressed in a fairly high fashion business uh, skirt. And as you enter, she smiles at you and stands up and reaches out or extends her hand towards you, and she says, "Hello, my name is Alice DeVry. I
Pleasure
represent
to
Evo."
oh, a pleasure to meet you. And Cecile will take her hand into a slight bow.
So
That is
you take
menacing.
her hand, and Dean Petrov stands up and he says, "Yes, Miss Cecile. It turns out that we have the opening um, at another facility, and we need somebody with your particular talents there. Um, Miss DeVry manages this facility, and she is going to escort you there and explain the duties of the new role when you get there. I hope this is not too much of an inconvenience. Unfortunately, you will have to give up some of your role here. However, I assure you that your new duties will be equally as fulfilling and will continue to count towards your studies."
How
Um,
fortuitous. This sounds like a great opportunity for advancement. Thank you.
Alice smiles at you very charmingly. She's obviously well trained in etiquette, and she says, "Cecile, I've heard so much about you. Um, it will be wonderful to have you join my team. I will explain all of the details as we go. I have a car waiting for us outside. Do you have anything that you need to gather from the lab?"
From the lab? No, I have everything here in my bag.
Ah, very practical. I would have sent somebody to go get it. Do you have any questions before we leave?
Oh no, I think we'll figure it out on the way, won't we?
Exactly. I'm so glad you understand. Dean Petrov looks at Dr. L and says, Peter, could you just hang on for a moment? And the old orc looks at you rather pleadingly, and then he sort of shrugs and his shoulders go limp and says, "Yeah."
Mm.
And Alice DeVry sort of motions, you know, does the sort of go ahead motion towards the door for you, Cecile.
The seal moves that direction as gracefully as she can in this moment.
Would you like to make another composure test?
Let's. One.
Ooh, your ability to keep it together is faltering. Maybe maybe that look that you got from Dr. L sort of put a crack in it or something. But yeah, we're going to cut over to our other runners who we've been neglecting. Um, and I am going to say that we're going to reconvene with them at this point where they are gathering in the alley behind the soy bucks across the street from the campus. Um, like I said, it's still raining. It's actually more of a mix of rain and sleet at this point. And even though you are downtown in the the richer part of the area, this alley um, is not necessarily pretty. There are quite a few dumpsters and trash, and it's so where the various businesses take out their refuse. Um, there aren't any homeless people. There aren't any devil rats. There aren't any ghouls, obviously, because it's downtown. Um, so in that sense, it's probably better than Auburn or Redmond or any of the other places outside of downtown in Bellevue. Kirsten is standing by the soy buck store. Let's see, do we have a handout for Kirsten? Do right? She's dressed in very very fashionably for a young student barista. Um, you can never tell with them whether they're going out to a club or for a coffee or what's going on, but um, she's waiting for you.
Oh,
And as soon as Boxer sees her, you remember now. You remember the whole thing of how you met her back here. That the creepy corp man had you had seen him already approaching her as she was fulfilling her duties as a barista inside the soy bucks, and you could tell that she had brushed him off and he hadn't taken it kindly, and he had waited for her in the back alley. You remember now that you had followed him into the back alley. It was obvious to your trained eye that he had was going with ill intent, and sure enough, when she came out to throw away some trash, he had accosted her, and um, you had been compelled to step in and knock him on his hoop, and he had fled after a couple of rather succinct threats from you, and that's when you had exchanged numbers with Kirsten. So you're pulling in with your bike at this point.
all right. Am I taking it from here?
Yeah,
Probably a bit electric, so I don't get to describe the roar of the motor. Oh well. And she's not obnoxious enough to add
Well,
that in.
actually, it comes standard on most like bikes that you would buy that are like for racing or combat.
It's an
yeah. It might
off-road
have
bike.
like a might not necessarily sound like an internal combustion engine unless you wanted to give off that kind of retro vibe, but you probably have a more modern sound like the whine of a turbine or something else like that, like a jet engine, spooling up.
Hmm.
It is fake. It is a fake sound, but everybody does it.
Fair enough. The roar of the motor fades in, grows louder, and dies within a quick period to Kirsten. Boxer, of course, hasn't been hearing too much of it, her dutiful worn motorcycle helmet protecting her ears. She keeps it on as she dismounts, checks herself, pats her chest to check her vest, avoids studiously patting her hip to check her weapons.
Speaking of which, what gear did you bring with?
Uh, she has the she has the Yamaha Pulsar and the okay. The Yamaha Pulsar, the Mercy Elan, which is the holdout pistol. That one's sneakily stuck in a boot, and the Browning holster at her hip. Or wait, it's like concealed. Is that the concealed holster? No, it isn't. Huh. That one's not like it's not hidden like the other ones, but it's not exactly advertised either. It's kept beneath the jacket.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. A lot of people will be carrying weapons as it is. It wouldn't be a problem unless you got stopped and asked for, a license or something like that.
Actually does have a license for that one.
So
Yeah.
there you go. All right. As soon as you enter the alleyway and get off your bike, the young woman jumps up from leaning against the wall and rushes towards you. And I'm so glad you came, Boxer. I didn't know what I was going to do, but my friend is in deep trouble. She looks a little bit hesitant, and then she says, "Yeah, my friend Cecile. I have a feeling the corp is going to get her today. I heard something that I probably shouldn't have heard, and I saw something that I shouldn't have seen. I can't quite explain it to you. I'll explain it to you later, but she pulls up her comm link and she shows you a picture. And it's a picture of Cecile. So you said dark hair, right? Dark hair, short,
Chestnut brown.
chestnut brown. shoulder length bob.
Shoulder length bob, yeah.
Yeah, so Kirsten's obviously taken a picture of Cecile at some point. Looks like she's wearing lab attire, and it's in some kind of lab. And she says, uh, Evo's got a couple of corp security people in there, and they called her to the dean's office, and I think they mean her no good. And at that point, Grace's van pulls into the alleyway, and Grace, um, you see the person that you know as Boxer or Ollie, standing there talking to a young human woman.
Mm, I this is like in the middle of the day, right? It's raining, but it's the middle of the day. People are out and
Yeah,
about on the streets.
yep.
How the we're in a back alley, right?
You're in a back alley. It's just the two of them, if we can make that work.
She's like 90-10. This is a trap. 10% something weird is just going on and she's getting promoted.
It's a very odd promotion.
Very
But
odd people.
Indeed.
yeah, it's not what you expect from Eve. They tend to be all about the sort of kumbaya kind of situation. But you're not getting that vibe here. Although, to be honest, yeah, you didn't do a judge intentions on Alice.
I was gonna.
All right,
She's too flustered.
maybe when we get back to Cecile, that's where we'll pick it up.
Mhm.
But for the moment, we left off with Grace's van pulling into this rather, for downtown, rather dingy and messy alleyway. And she sees the person that she knows as Ali and Boxer standing talking to a young human woman who seems somewhat distraught.
Uh, Nightingale, she pulls up in her blue, um, let me see what it's called exactly. Her blue bulldog step van,
Nice.
and stops, pulls it to a stop. The engine is quiet. It's very humble looking. It looks like something a suburban mom would have, with the exception of the very, very dark tinted windows. There's like a vague bit of a movement visible, but it's not immediately apparent what is inside or how many people are inside. The driver's side just so happens to be facing away from them, and Nightingale, she opens the door with her magic, falls out on to the wet concrete. She is wearing uh her cloak and some warm clothes underneath that, her practitioner's cap, and some little bootsies to keep the soles of her hooves from freezing. She goes to the uh the side door that's not the driver's, to that leads to the driver's seat, but the back seat, and she grabs her saddlebags and some other loose objects that she had just tossed back in there whenever
So,
she'd yes.
one thing that we didn't do in the beginning, uh, you described what Nightingale was doing, but you didn't actually describe Nightingale herself. So, um,
I'll do
why,
that.
yeah, give us a description of Nightingale and how she is actually manipulating, for example, the saddlebags or the doors and things like that.
Okay. Whenever she opens the door, she's just using like a tug of psychokinetic force on the handle and pulling it in, and then budging it with like effectively her shoulder, her side, to get it open, and then she pushes it again with a hoof. She falls onto the concrete, kind of half. It's a half fall, half awkwardly gripping onto the seat as she does. First her hind legs hitting the ground, and then her forelegs. Um, and she goes to the back, the side door, as I've been saying. Is there another word for that?
Passenger side.
Well, the passenger side's on the opposite side of the driver's seat. I mean the back seat, the door for that. The sliding door? The sliding door. She pulls it open, she gathers up her saddlebags and some other things that she'd thrown back there, pulls them on. She's using her magic and thus her eyes very studiously to track it as she motions it up around one side underneath her cloak and then the other, and then buckles it underneath her. Um, I imagine it may seem like there's someone like gathering up like a scary shadow runner gathering up Kit while she's doing this.
Does the
Um,
magic have any physical manifestation
Not that
visible?
they can see. There is the glow of the magic and also the tinkling sound, but in the cacophony of the rain and Seattle's sounds, it's not easy to see. Maybe the faintest like glimmers of blue in nearby reflective surfaces away from like on that side of the vehicle, perhaps. She pulls on her saddlebags and she closes it, throws it shut by pulling on the handle, and she promptly steps around. And I imagine at first it seems almost like a dog, like a large dog, but a dog in like a poncho for rain. But there's no master following after it. It's this small quadrupedal creature in a black coat with some kind of broad-brimmed hat, which doesn't make sense for a dog. Uh, and she trots up. I imagine the little clip clop of hooves against rainy concrete is very distinct from what you would expect from a dog or a person. Again, she's alone. It's alone. She's not looking up
Has
yet. The brim of the cap hiding her face, and then whenever she gets up,
has
she
Grace
kind of
ever been to downtown Seattle?
yes, I imagine so.
Okay. So as you approach Boxer, you see Nightingale approaching. You see the little horse that they've interacted with in a rather surprising manner before approaching, and you see that she appears to be fully kitted out, and for a moment the incongruity of the scene strikes you, and then almost immediately that impression goes away again as you turn and look, and Kirsten is looking rather surprised, and then she looks at you, Boxer, with a sort of questioning gaze, and you can tell she's thinking, what am I looking at? What is going on here?
I did tell you to expect a magically active compatriot. I did not tell you to expect a metahuman. The people we have to work with, mm, they can be unusual. Not that I can talk. Anyhow, to continue. And she's dressed meticulously. It's unusual for her. She has some sort of fabric pulled over her tail so that it's just homogeneous black, no fur. She has gloves on, uh, the kind you would expect, not of a motorcycle rider, the kind with two fingers, the thumb and the pointer cut out as though they were intended to be used for a rather decidedly different purpose. The helmet's still on, though the face shield has been pulled up, and those luminous eyes are visible.
It's at that point when while Voxer is saying this that Nightingale looks up at her, like up to her face, and I imagine her entire face is visible before her gaze sweeps over, forward facing like a predator, over to Kristen. That's her name, right?
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Kristen.
Yeah,
Kirsten.
it says
Kirsten.
Kristen, but it's Kirsten.
Kirsten. Okay, Kirsten. Um, and it's still really confusing what she's looking at. She can obviously now see the spiral horn sticking like out of her forehead, the very big fluffy ears which twitch and are swiveled. They seem like they swivel to the sounds of the two talking. Her eyes are huge. They look human, but they're huge and very I don't know. Her face, like her snoot, her actual snoot, It looks like God took a normal animal and then like pushed it in the snoot into its face and then kind of like curled it up a little bit so that it wasn't really sticking out so much as like sloping as like a chin. Like there's no chin, there's just a slope that leads up to the nose, with a mouth between the where that slope meets the neck and then goes up to the very nose of the snoot.
Okay. Yeah. Kirsten is looking at you with wide eyes and seems to be just looking back from you to Boxer and back at you, and uh, she's having a little bit of trouble.
Woman, I am a walking, talking cat. Just get on with it. We probably don't have much time.
You know, well, actually, she. Oh, yeah, wait, job, work, yeah. Nightingale speaks. She speaks. It's coherent. I do have some questions though. I've never seen a metahuman, uh, and she just kind of glocks.
The
Glocks.
sorry, hang on a second. Kirsten makes a composure test and gets 5 hits,
But on her,
Hips.
what a tolerant individual.
and then you see she's just sort of she does exactly what Boxer says. She sort of gives herself a quick shake and refocuses on what's actually important, and without thinking, she reaches out a hand to Grace and says, my name's Kirsten," and then she sort of awkwardly pulls her hand back, realizing that it's not going to work.
Um, Nightingale, she says, I would shake your hand if I could, but I would fall over. Sorry.
Okay, so what I was telling Boxer, and she looks at you again, and she says, "Okay, so you can understand what I'm saying." Um,
Mm-hmm.
what I was telling Boxer is my friend Cecile is in grave danger. I look, she sort of resigns herself to. I'm not just a barista. I have other jobs, and part of those jobs leads me to hear things. I know that I found out that
Nightingale realized something. She put two pieces together in her head, and it all started making sense, and she just nods very emphatically.
Kirsten goes on. She says, "Yes, so the the company that we work for, that Cecile and I work for, Evo. I think Cecile stumbled into something she wasn't supposed to, and they're going to make her disappear. They've sent somebody by the name of." She looks at her comlink, Alice DeVry, and as from what I know, she's high level Evo security, counter
Uh,
intel.
so Evo are rich people who pretend to care, right?
I'm sorry.
Han, you cut out.
Um, is this better?
Yes.
So Evo are the rich people that pretend to care, right?
That's them.
Okay. And your friend, what does she do? Not what did she do? What does she do? Like what's her job?
She's an intern like I am, and we work in the lab. But Cecile's a lot smarter than I am. She's got an internship. She's studying. Uh, I don't even understand what she's studying, but she's helped me out a number of times, and she's uh, she's studying. She's doing magical research for Evo, and I just do data entry. I'm not that smart, but she's obviously gotten herself into some trouble. This woman, Alice DeVry, eh, has been sent with a security team to the university, and I expect, obviously, they're not going to do anything to Cecile on campus, so they are going to take her somewhere else, wherever where something can happen that I don't know, but I don't. If this DeVry woman is involved, nothing good is going to happen. But um, I'm afraid we're really short on time. We need to get over there, and
Okay. Um,
I can take you there. I can show you where the lab is, and I can, if I have to, I can get you in the door.
Got it.
So just so that I understand, we are taking. Is she just a magic researcher, or is she a magician? You know, she makes a motion with one of her hooves lifted off the ground for a second, mimicking
Oh yes,
regional formulae poorly.
she's definitely she's a mage. I'm not a mage. She's a mage though. That's why she's got the position in the lab that she does.
Okay. Well, you have a vehicle you can take us in?
I don't have a vehicle. It's right across the street. We just need to go out of the alley around and we'll be on campus.
Oh, okay. Well, lead lead the way. We're going on campus. So
She looks at you and she says, I don't know how this is going to work.
okay, I'm going to disappear. I will still be with you. You will not be able to perceive me, and you should not perceive me. Do not worry about it unless you hear me. You feel me like poking at your mind or something, trying to get your attention. Which it wouldn't
Okay.
even be poking. I would just be talking to you. Um, but she like again motions with a hoof at her head, like in your mind.
Are
Yeah.
you going to cast Mind Net at this point?
Uh, how does sustaining multiple spells work in this in 4E?
You just take the modifier for each.
So it's minus. Is it? Can't you sustain one without the modifier, or is one already?
That is with a quality up to a certain force rating.
Ooh, no, she's not gonna cast it. She'll save that for if she has to communicate something.
All
All
right.
right. Boxer, anything from you?
Boxer nod Boxer nods along impatiently, as though like everything were going unbearably slowly. And then she whispers, or no, she speaks directly to Night. I guess still Grace. To Grace, I want you to be on the lookout. I want you to be on the lookout for any of their astral defenses. I can almost assure you that they'll have a spirit floating around somewhere. I would not be at all surprised if they had a single wage mage around. Actually, maybe more than one. Either way, what I want for you to do is make sure they don't make us into a problem for the security. Ideally, they will never know we are here. Got it?
Okay. Sure.
Good. And
And it's at that point that Nightingale
uh,
disappears. Like at first, her body just goes, just like there's like a click, and her body's invisible, but her eyes are still like translucently visible for just a moment before they're also gone.
oh god, that's disorienting. Alright. Kristen, lead the way, and if you can, try and get a fix on Cecile's location. I would prefer not to be walking in without at least knowing where she is.
Kirsten pulls out her comlink again and she calls Cecile. And Cecile, as you're walking out of the office with Alice DeVry behind you, your comlink goes off again, and you see that it's Kirsten calling you again.
Like a phone call?
Yeah, like a voice call.
Cecile declines the phone call but texts back. Where are you and what did you do?
Because you're an AR, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're always an AR.
Almost always. Sometimes Cecile has like one of those mindfulness moments where she turns off AR.
Sorry. Imagine turning off your AR in the 21st century. Anyhow.
Oh, okay. So you text her back. What do you text her back?
Where are you and what did you do?
Oh yeah, sorry. You immediately get a text back, and you guys in the alley, you see her first calling and then texting back. She says, I didn't do anything. This is all on you. I told you to come out to the soy bucks right away.
How was I supposed to know it was that important?
I told you it was life or death.
You said nothing of the sort, or if you did, you were incomprehensible.
Well, it is life or death. Where are you?
I'm with Miss DeVry. She's taking me to a car.
There's a moment's hesitation in the text, and then Boxer and Nightingale, Kirsten says, curses, she says, Drek, DeVry's got her already. We're going to have to move quickly. And then she texts back to Cecile, don't trust DeVry.
Should we take the van?
No, she says, we're almost there.
Okay.
I should note that while this is happening, Cecile is asking DeVry very pointed questions like, "Oh, so you said you liked my work. What parts of it did you really enjoy?"
Somebody, so she knows her stuff. She's obviously been briefed
hmm
extensively, and she's able to answer you quite coherently on what's going on, what has attracted the corp's attention about your research and how you've handled it. The fact your diligence and your magical abilities have not gone unnoticed.
Does it sound Evo-y or does it sound like, standard corp?
It does not sound. No, it definitely does not sound evilly.
That was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, doesn't sound evilly.
Oh,
She's
okay.
she does not sound. She doesn't have that sort of very stilted, saccharine Evo approach to
Since
communication.
Would Cecile have had enough interaction with Evo to know that they don't do like, hey, meet the boss type shit? 'Cause-
Yes.
Okay. So Cecile would have known immediately that something was up
The
the moment
idea
she.
that you're going to meet the boss is rather ludicrous. I mean, even meeting the dean was pretty far fetched, and the idea that you're being promoted to a new lab at EVO, you've just showed up at campus 2 months ago.
Okay. Yeah,
These guys should
no.
know you
I
for
meant
you.
more that the fact that Evo only goes to their HR department and like you don't even.
Oh yeah, you would never go. Yeah, exactly. And that is
Okay.
actually, I think, canon EVO. Everything goes through the HR department.
Yeah. Okay. So Cecile knew right away that like something's fucking up.
Yeah,
Okay.
something's definitely. So, okay,
Hmm.
where were we? You're heading out. You were texting with Kirsten, and so Kirsten, Boxer, and Grace, you guys are hurrying across a rather busy street towards the campus. Beautiful campus. Boxer, you've seen. I'm not sure if Grace has seen the campus before. Beautiful campus, beautifully manicured lawns and planted areas, lush trees, statues that are, all the statue area you can tell is corporate sponsored. Aries logo, Shiawase's logos, all of the Big Ten are located on campus and have their and you see that Kirsten is headed towards a larger, modern building, um, white and glass. She's pulled her jacket closer around her, and she's looks back at you and at Boxer. She can't see Grace, obviously, can't see Nightingale, and she's looking at the building. She says, "They're in there. They're going to have a car or a vehicle somewhere here, probably in the parking garage back there. I don't know. I don't see where the security is, but she looks at Boxer again. I don't know. What do you think? Should we attempt to get her away here in the lab, or on the way to the parking garage, or in the parking garage?"
Hmm.
Uh, if I know anything about how this place is built, says Nightingale, a disembodied voice, uh, the garage would probably be a good idea because otherwise we're going to have to go through a lot of people to get to an exit, whereas the garage will go straight out onto a main street, or at least the uh, the lot of the college. No?
Oh yeah, we can try that. Um, I'm not. I don't know anything about these kinds of situations. She looks at Boxer again. You're obviously the most combat proven person here, so she's looking at you for guidance. Did we lose Valerie?
I think we did.
How about now? God, I was saying whole things.
Don't you hate that?
I love it when that happened. It is amazing. Anyhow, okay, tracking. Alright, Kristen, I need you to get your friend to broadcast their location somehow. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to find them in this sprawl. Fucking crush or not.
All right. Kirsten shoots Cecile a quick text. Can you broadcast your location on your pan?
Cecile? Cecile, I mean,
Say again?
You get a text from Kirsten. Can you broadcast your location so that we can find you?
Cecile does that immediately.
All right. Kirsten swipes the location tracker over to Boxer.
I should ask, are there guards with Cecile and Debray?
Yeah. So as you exit the office and are walking down the hallway towards the reception desk, you realize that the two security officers that had been flanking the door are following you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get into the elevator with DeVry, and the two security guards come along too, and DeVry gives you a reassuring look and says, um, "It's my security detail. There are no current threats, but the company insists that I have them with me at all times."
Of course, it's just good sense. This part of Seattle can get kind of bad.
Yeah, except for they're wearing Washington University uniforms,
Mhm.
not Evo uniforms, and she's obviously Evo, so there's that. All right, so Kirsten swipes over the location tracker to Boxer and Nightingale, and you can see that the pin is coming from the big glass building right ahead of you. So there are a couple of entrances from it and walkways, cement walkways, planted areas around, and the on your AR you can see that there is a parking garage a little ways on the other side of the building, so you'd have to pass the building to get to the parking garage.
alright. We need to double time this one. I want us to get inside of that fucking garage, and I want us to have ambush positions so that we can get them once they're inside and relatively isolated. And
Oh.
you, Kristen, I assume you are not the sort to fight, so I want you to find somewhere safe nearby us, and well, I don't expect you to do anything.
As you're running, so make a I guess it's a perception check. Take a quick look at Kirsten. You just do a perception check.
And
Both of us?
Yeah, why not?
but perception, is it just rolling perception? Wait, I'm just gonna press the button. What does this do? Okay, cool. It does cool things.
I can only roll 2 die. This is so sad.
This is so sad. I'm going to cry. Did you remember to change the attribute with perception? Because it's automatically like willpower or something. I don't know.
No,
Can't remember.
I'm looking at my whatchamacallit.
Well, there's a button. Just press the button. It's an active skills. P, perception.
Oh, I got 1 hit on that.
Good job.
Which
Buck,
talking about that, I think I'd wanna start astrally perceiving at this point, which I think gives a -2 after this check, a -2 to all physical perception checks.
okay. So Boxer, on a closer look at, as you're telling Kirsten to find a safe place, you're taking a closer look at her and you're realizing that that stylish jacket that she's wearing is armored and that there is a weapon underneath of it.
All right, I'm gonna interrupt my older, less perceptive self. What did I say exactly? Find a place out. You are a bit better equipped than I expected.
She
Look,
gives a
you're the
little
one
grin.
paying. You don't have to do anything you don't want to.
Cecile's my friend. She's
All right.
helped me. I'll help her now. And
I,
Nightingale, you got 1 hit on 2 dice, and as you're listening to Boxer start to tell Kirsten to maybe find a safer place. You get the impression, not quite as detailed, but you do get the impression that Kirsten isn't completely defenseless in this situation, even though she looks like she would be.
An admirable trait, she continues. Tell
All
me
right.
that's
Go ahead. Sorry.
tell me that's a non-lethal weapon. Otherwise, well, it gets complicated.
Kirsten grins again, and as she flashes open the jacket, you see that she's carrying a taser. Nightingale, you're perceiving astrally now.
Yes.
You do see a couple of Watcher spirits hovering around the Evo building. They aren't paying any particular attention to you. They're not. Nothing's look focused on you at the moment.
Uh, Boxer? Uh, there's watchers, like, all around in the air. I don't think they're paying any mind to us right now. I just,
I'm not an Arcane specialist. Tell me what they're doing.
They look like they're
basically
guarding the Evo building.
think of them like magic cameras.
I can deal with cameras. That's why we're getting out of sight.
Okay, yeah, I'll follow.
All right, so now you guys are hustling, right, for the parking garage.
Yeah.
And okay, so when you get into the parking garage, think of it as your standard parking garage layout. What are you going to do? All right, friends, this makeshift team of runners seems to be closing in on the girl Cecile's location. Are they going to be able to rescue her? Does she even need rescuing? Let's find out in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe or let us know that you enjoyed it or any of your other thoughts. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. The Tops Company, Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and/or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Tops Company, Inc. has granted permission to the Hard Knocks Sorority podcast to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and/or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with the Hard Knocks Sorority podcast in any official capacity whatsoever. The music for the Hard Knocks Sorority podcast was written and performed by Trace Mineral. The Hard Knocks Sorority podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons License 4.0, meaning you are welcome to use the material as long as you give us credit.